we're going to talk some more college basketball with our next guest. We're going to get into the Big Ten and especially the Buckeyes because Clay Hall is from Columbus, longtime Columbus guy. He used to be in the SEC conference doing reporting and things and came back here, but has had a long career in Columbus, Ohio. Clay Hall is our special guest for you today on the Father-Son Coast to Coast Hotline. You fans, you're going to love Clay Hall. Let's bring in Clay now. All right, we welcome into the Father-Son Coast to Coast Hotline, Clay Hall. We're going to talk college basketball mostly, but a little bit of Buckeye football with the sports director of the local Columbus ABC Fox affiliate, one of the big fans of the show, Clay Hall. Welcome to the Father-Son Coast to Coast Hotline.
Well, I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the invite. Love to chat it up. I was spent about a half hour today on Fox Sports Ohio, so I'm all warmed up and I'm ready to go.
All right. You're on the B program. Now you're on the A program. We see what you're saying. We see what you're saying.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, Clay, we're excited to get your perspective, especially in the middle of this March Madness. But before we do that, just looking at your background and notice that prior to your 25-year stint with WSOX, WTTE, you were down in SEC country. What was that like down there?
Yeah. It's interesting to have both of those backgrounds. Though I went to high school in Columbus, I ended up going to school down south. It was a strange thing. I kind of a small town kid. I went to Mississippi State, which of course is in Stark Vegas, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott is my hero, even at 63 years old. That cat put a university and a state on his back and took a team that is certainly one of the have-nots in that league and made them number one. I recall the athletic director at that time said, "I think I'm living in an alternate universe," because things like that don't happen in Stark Vegas. But I mean, baseball is really what they were good at. Ohio State was just too big for me. Most of the kids I went to high school with either went there or Ohio University, and certainly we've lived vicariously through the Bobcats here the last few days.
Yeah. Yes, we have.
I got into TV, guys, by accident. I had 2 newspaper jobs. And where did you go? And a guy said, offered me a chance to get into TV. It was kind of like Columbus, where, one person owned all the radio, TV, et cetera. And I said, I'm enough ham. I'll try it. And 35 years later, I'm still grinding because I'm TV because of my looks. I am a dog-faced grinder who loves to cover sports, and that's why I do it.
That's awesome. You do an awesome job, and we love listening to you and watching you on all your shows. You are Buckeye all the way through, so we're glad you worked your way back to Ohio. And let's jump into the first topic here on the Ohio State. We got to touch on Ohio State basketball, even though it hurts about their performance. And Michigan just beat LSU. They advanced to the Sweet 16, and the Buckeyes don't get past the first round against Oral Roberts. What the Buckeyes fans want to know, and I know you're the best one to have a feel for this, why did this happen? How does Michigan advance like this and the Buckeyes do so poorly?
I think that the Big Ten teams play this rugged schedule, 20 games, and they all play the same style. I heard some folks talking about this the other day, and it dawned on me. There's no basketball equivalent of Joe Tiller. There's no I think they need an influx of coaches from everywhere. Pac-12 and the South is playing the best basketball. Michigan's got a talented team. I thought they'd take a step back without Isaiah Livers. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I mean, Ohio State had multiple chances to tie or go ahead and win the game. This thing is upside down. But I do think when you play 4 games in 4 days like they did in the Big Ten tournament, it stresses you. And I also think they're lacking presence in the middle. They need another big. They were down Kyle Young. They don't have a rim protector. They don't have a Micah Potter. I think he would have exhausted his eligibility here when he transferred to West Virginia. He sat out. So he wouldn't have, I don't think, been on this team. I'd have to look back to make sure. But they need that kind of player. And against Oral Roberts, they just didn't shoot it well. Now, how and why E.J. Liddell took all the heat for that.
Really weird.
That's another 30-minute conversation, because I think those idiots, those cowards, lost a lot of money. We're looking for somebody to take it out on. E.J. Liddell, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. He did his thing. Dwayne was a little off. Orange couldn't hit late. It happens. But my bracket, good grief. I had Ohio State. I had Illinois winning it. But now we got to take a step back and analyze Big Ten basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. The Illinois I had winning, at Ohio State in my Final Four. Michigan I had losing early because they lost livers, but they're the only one standing. I think you're right. The type of competition we've been playing in the Big Ten is very different than Loyola Chicago when they come out and play, just completely different style of offense and defense. Just rattles, an exhausted Illinois after, like you said, Ohio State went 4 games in 4 days. Same thing with Illinois. They just looked like there was no gas left in the tank at the end of that game.
No, I concur. I absolutely, I hear you. I feel you. I just think they see too much of the same thing in that 20-game stretch. And the Pac-12 is stunning. Oregon State is stunning. I don't know. Loyola, incredible. And they've got a local kid. They have a kid from Hilliard, Braden Norris, playing guard. And I'm here for that Cameron Krutwig all day long.
Oh, my gosh.
They are inspiring. And Ohio was, and they ran into a pretty good Creighton team. So that has run its course. But awfully proud for Jeff Bowles, the former Buckeye assistant. And led the Bobcats as a player to the big dance in 1994. And if you saw his post game, very emotional. And I think that's what's so neat about sports, when that's what a team's about. And you thrive on each other. And I think when you've been through that 3 or 4 or 5 month deal where you're having so much fun and the camaraderie is incredible. I mean, I don't think it gets any better than that. So congratulations to them. They get to hang an NCAA banner, and the Buckeyes have to work on their roster for next year.
Well, that's a good point. That's a nice segue. I was going to talk about next year and what your view was. And we got this Branham kid from Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, LeBron School, 6'4", 175 shooting guard, ranked 29th overall in the 2022 class. And his team just won the state championship, Division II in Ohio. He scores 37. He's going to be a Buckeye. So what do you think about next year's team, bringing in Branham and maybe some other guys?
Yeah, I certainly was watching Branham play in the state title game as they took on a Central Ohio team. 3 Central Ohio teams had a shot to win the state last weekend, and none of them came up with the W.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking for me, especially Westerville Central, who had played so well to get there. As you said, Branham's a real deal, 37 points. He's got the pedigree. And, St. V won their 9th state title. Now, is the deck a little stacked? Well, do they recruit? I don't know. But, excuse me, they looked awfully good in knocking off, what was that, the D2 title?
D2 title, yeah.
Yeah, so they took care of DeSales, and then Westville.
Yeah, DeSales. It was DeSales, yeah.
Yeah, and they, what was interesting, the Stallions led that game by 4 or 5 at halftime, and then St. V just slapped the press
took over.
Yeah, just got after them in a big way. But I like Branham. I did a piece on him probably a month and a half ago. He's that 6'4" swing guy who can do a lot of things well.
Well, that's great. We're really excited about the Buckeyes next year. We got a lot of Buckeye fans who watch the show, but they're not all Buckeye fans, but we got a ton of them. And I want to move on to talk about March Madness the rest of the way. And when you guys look at, start with Clay, when you guys look at the Final Four, of these 16 teams that are there, which one do you think, Clay, were you most impressed with that you think, can get to that Final Four?
Really impressed with Creighton, really impressed with Loyola. Impressed with Bama. I think Bama plays at a different speed. I got to go get my busted bracket because I gave up after. I was so busted by the first weekend.
Yeah.
And when Illinois went down, I could not believe it. They had all the pieces to put it together. No, I'd be interested in hear what you guys think. I'm trying to
what do you think?
I'm trying to think.
Team Money, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I love Loyola going forward. I wish I had done a little. I liked them, but I just loved Illinois. Like you said, I thought they had all the pieces, and they ranked 9th in the country in Ken Palm's rankings going into the tournament. So it's not like there wasn't indications that they had the ability. But if I had to choose someone else, I like Oregon. Can they score at will? They they play small ball. They start a 6'6" guy at center. And they started him versus Luka Garza. If you can start a 6'6" guy versus him, you can do it versus anybody. So he dropped 36, but it didn't matter. They can outscore him.
They annihilated Iowa. It was another Big Ten team really getting embarrassed.
It was bad. Yeah,
I like the Alabama Crimson Tide. I got the Zoom background behind me. I've got Alabama on my Zoom background, Clay, and that's because I liked Alabama going into their tournament in the SEC. They won the regular season, they won the conference tournament, and now in the playoffs they've beaten Iona. They've had an easy route, really. All three of the teams they beat are double digit, and Maryland they beat 96-77, and now they've got Alabama. Well, they didn't beat Alabama, UCLA. UCLA is an 11 seed. They got them next, and they're headed toward a showdown with Michigan. It could be Alabama, Michigan in that final there.
Yeah, Greg Byrne, their athletic director, who came from Mississippi State, by the way, just a little shout out, made an excellent hire. Excellent hire. It was an Oates from Buffalo.
Yep.
And he has got them cooking. So yeah, I like them a lot.
We got the West is Gonzaga, the South is Baylor, East is Michigan, and the Midwest has Houston. Those are the lead seeds in each of the regions.
You know what's neat with Mark Few, and this may be his best team. I don't know. He may have had some others who busted on the way, but I thought I heard this on the air the other night, and I think it's so cool that he has been approached numerous times about other jobs, and he's never interviewed. He loves Spokane so much and coaching the Zags and fly fishing in that area. He said, I've got life by the tail. And I've never been a believer, frankly, in Gonzaga, but now I think I'm going to have to. They're going to drag me kicking and screaming into the Final Four, and let's see what happens.
No,
who do you pick to win it all, Clay? Who do you pick to win it all? If you had to pick right now.
See, I don't watch Gonzaga enough.
I like Gonzaga this year. Like you said, Clay.
Yeah.
I did a rant on them a few weeks back how they're not an elite program until they can prove that they can win a championship. Mark Few's been there like 22 years now.
Yeah,
22.
And so, I love their team this year specifically because they finally have the senior-laden, great team, but with NBA talent. Jalen Suggs is really, really good. You see him out there, and he looks like an NBA player. The Pittsburgh kid is pretty solid. They have NBA players for once instead of just a great senior-laden team, and I think that might get him over the hump this year.
Yeah, it would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Hey, let's shift gears. We're kind of working our way toward the finish here, having Clay Hall on the show here tonight. We're really excited to have Clay, the sports director at Fox and ABC, local affiliate here. I want to talk a little bit about Buckeye football. Looking forward because everybody here is excited about it, and I want to talk a little bit first about the quarterback situation. We've got Kyle McCord coming in, chance for a freshman to potentially start at quarterback. He's I know you know this, Clay. I'm helping out our viewers. McCord's a 5-star recruit. He's ranked 26 overall in the class, and he's only the third 5-star quarterback to sign with the Buckeyes. That could potentially start. Terrell Pryor and Braxton Miller were the last two. What do you think about McCord coming in? Can he take the job from the two sophomores and start for the Buckeyes?
I think he could, because he's played so much more football in the last year than have CJ Stroud and Jack Miller. So, and Ryan Day made it clear about 2 weeks ago, this kid is fighting for the job. He is in the mix, and he was the National High School Player of the Year. They identified him early. He is a prototype, drop back passer. When is the last time? I was trying to think, because there have been so many dual threat guys. This would be, to me, a major departure for Ohio State. And I think it is what Ryan Day is bringing to the equation, that he can raise the bar a little bit as the quarterback whisperer. And that's an area that he's good at. He's brought some guys along, certainly Fields and Haskins as well. And I think he sees a chance there to elevate the Buckeyes through the quarterback play. So I can't wait to see. I mean, we're dying to see these guys in uniform. They do put on the pads tomorrow, but again, we're not out of the COVID whatever. But there was a couple of requests made this week that if the Bucks practice in the shoe, we can certainly distance there. And Day said, love to have you. So I think we may get a sneak peek. I don't know when that will be, but I'm told Jack Miller is kind of that Joe Burrow-like player, and Stroud may be closer to Fields, though I don't put him in that class yet, because none of them have done anything. And that's what the way Ryan was approaching it. There's no determinations, there's no ratings, there's no nothing. They're all getting equal reps. And, this thing is going to go into the fall. I feel certain, and we'll go from there. But,
and all our best to Justin Fields. Justin Fields moving on to the pros. We don't know where he's going to go in the draft, but man, we love Justin Fields. He took Clemson to the woodshed, and that's why he's going to go in that second or third pick, T-Money. What do you think about Justin Fields, his position in the draft?
Yeah, I am stunned to think he would fall to 15, like some people are saying the Patriots. Ryan Day kind of got on his high horse a little bit the other day when people asked, we're hearing that his stock is dropping. And he was like, this kid is going to make plays in the NFL. I don't care what you say or what you do. You will not be able to stop him. Is he the finished product? Maybe not. But I think he has a very bright future. His game against Clemson is one of the best I've ever seen in watching college football for almost 50 years. Incredible. Given the fact that he took that hit and just kept on ticking. I thought it was an amazing performance. And it's too bad that they went in shorthanded against Bama. Bama's the 33rd team in the National Football League, but if you have Togiai and you have Tyreek Smith and you're not anyway, I think we would have had a game there. And it's a shame it worked out that way, but COVID really wreaked havoc with Ohio State, stop, start, the whole thing. So anyway.
Well, before you, we let you go, going into next year, they were in the playoff last year. Can they, I think they can win the Big Ten, even with one of those younger quarterbacks. Can they make the playoffs? Because I know my Cincinnati Bearcats are going to be ready for you. Okay. My Bearcats are going to be ready. Will the Buckeyes be there ready to play us?
You know what? I am a huge Luke Fickell fan. I told Gene Smith when it all went down with Tressel, I said, you got to take care of that guy because he's the one that stood up in the fire, man. Yeah. He's the one who could have said, no, I'm not going to jeopardize my chances with this. I don't even get to hire a staff. I don't get to, and he's the one he didn't spit the bit, man. He did what he had to do. Crushing loss to Michigan that year. But at any rate, I'm so thrilled for him. And my question to you is, my man, are you going to be able to hang on to one of the hottest guys in college football?
I don't know. He seems pretty comfortable down there, and he's already got raises. We've already given him contract extensions. He's actually turned away money already to give to his assistant coaches. So they're trying to build even the assistant coaches long-term. Now we lost our D coordinator to Notre Dame, who's great. He is awesome. But, I think Luke Fickell kind of helped run that side, so I'm not too worried about the defense. But, his recruiting is what's really turning us around. Right now I think we're ranked 13th in the country for class of 2022 or something. So long way to go. But, that's what he's changed. It's the whole culture down there is awesome.
Yeah, I think he calls it the state of Cincinnati. They recruit that. There's a lot of tremendous prep football there with Moeller and X.
Yeah.
I diverted your question. Yeah, put the Buckeyes in the playoffs if they get even a serviceable quarterback, and I think they will be a lot better than that. They got 6 running backs in that room, by the way.
Yeah.
6 scholarship running backs today, and they talked. And Travion Henderson, the highly recruited player, said, I just want to take the first hit because that'll wake me up and I will be ready to go. So Teague, Master Teague, kind of the incumbent, but there's a lot of guys pushing for time in there. And I was impressed with Mayan Williams last year, who got very little time, but every time he did, he impressed. So, hopefully hopefully guys, we play a full schedule and we get back to somewhat normalcy. It was like Ryan Day said the other day, we've been to this point so many times where we're just cooking right along and things are going great. And then you get smacked in the mouth by some, they had to pause. It wasn't that long ago, but hopefully it feels like to me that we are getting back to normal.
Yeah.
Well, we are very excited. You get us psyched up talking about them putting the pads on, Clay. Psyched up, man. Hey, we have about 30 seconds left before we wrap up. I don't know if you have any special causes or anything you want to share with our audience before we say goodbye to you. And what's it like to be?
I've been. Go ahead. I've been blessed.
Oh, you go.
Family, 3 sons, all raised here in Columbus, and a wife who is long suffering and is just the delight of my life. And we just celebrated 39 years and anniversary about a couple of weeks ago. So that's what keeps me between the ditches, are those people who I love so much. So thank you again for having me. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We love that. And Clay, we're all excited about 2021. We got the 2020 behind us. Now we can focus and have some fun. And thanks for coming on to the Father-Son Coast to Coast Hotline. And best of luck this year, and go Bucks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, thanks so much. Show. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
You bet.
Thanks. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Clay Hall, T-Money.
Yeah.
What a fun interview.
Oh, that was fun. He knows his stuff, man. Love talking, Big Ten, Ohio State, football and basketball with him. And that was a great interview. He's a funny guy.
Yeah. What'd you think? Did you get all your questions answered? You have any other thoughts?
Yeah.
After interviewing Clay, what was on your mind? What are you thinking about?
It was a good one. The only thing that interests me is they have OSU has a 5-star quarterback coming in this year. And then they have the number 1 overall prospect, and number 1 quarterback 5-star coming in next year. So, how's that dynamic going to work when you have multiple 5-stars? Like he said, they haven't had a ton of 5-stars. They've only had, was it Dwayne and Braxton? Now you're going to have the 2 sophomores and 2 5-stars at the same time. I think that's going to be the interesting thing that I'd love to hear his opinion on, but that's another day.
Well, I mean, I really appreciate him bringing his college sports and his Buckeye insights into our March Madness. And then he got me pumped up talking about football practices starting. You know, when you're a Buckeye, we're disappointed, of course, in basketball, but we always have that football season to look forward to. Yeah. Hey, what did he say that caught your attention, man? The thing I really love the fact that when we ask him at the end, you know, do you have anything you want to say in the next 30 seconds? And the guy recognizes his family. I'm at Clay Hall. I'm really impressed that he was that professional and that thoughtful to mention his family. He didn't talk about, you know, some sporting event he was at. He talked about his family and his love for his family. I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, great guy. Great guy. Hope to talk to him again soon on the show.